First class requirement number 1. Demonstrate how to find directions during the day and at night without using a compass. People have been finding their way around our planet for thousands of years, even before the compass was invented, by using the sun during the day and the stars and moon at night. With a little practice, you can master some of those same techniques.
One of the oldest nighttime navigation methods relies on the North Star. To find the North Star, you'll need to locate a constellation or grouping of stars called Ursa Major, the Great Bear. Look closely, and you'll see this constellation contains the stars that form the Big Dipper, 4 bright stars that make up the Dipper's bowl, and 3 stars that form the handle. You can use a star chart, a map of the heavens, to help locate constellations. Check with your leader to see if your troop has one, and check a Boy Scout field book. It has a whole chapter on the night sky. Once you clearly see the Big Dipper, look at the 2 stars in the Dipper's bowl, the ones farthest from the handle. They're called the pointer stars because if you could draw a line through the 2 stars and extend it upward, about 5 times the distance of the span between the 2 pointers, you should see the North Star at the end of the line. The Earth's North Pole lies directly under the North Star.
Once you've located the North Star, a good way to line up with north is to take a stick about 2 feet long and put it in the ground so it stands vertically. Then take a second shorter stick and line it up with the first so that when you sight over the tips of both sticks, the North Star sits at the top of both of them. Now draw a line in the ground from the shorter stick to the longer one. It points true north.
Get to know some other constellations. Scorpius fills the southern sky in the summer. Orion rises in the southeast in the winter. Cassiopeia circles the North Star, opposite the Big Dipper.
During the day, the sun becomes your directional guide. The simplest method for determining your directions is to watch the sun rise and set. There's a little variation from season to season, but more or less, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west.
You can use your watch to determine directions during the day. Take a straight twig and hold it upright against the edge of your watch at the point of the hour hand. Then, keeping the watch dial flat, rotate the watch and twig until the shadow cast by the twig falls along the hour hand's position. In other words, until the hour hand points at the sun. Look at the angle formed between the number 12 at the top of the watch and the hour hand. A line drawn from the center of the watch, splitting that angle in half, points south.
Another daytime technique is called the shadow stick method. Push a short, straight stick into the ground. Angle it toward the sun so it makes no shadow. Then wait a little while until the stick casts a shadow at least 6 inches long. That shadow will be pointing east from the stick. All you need to do is draw a line at right angles across the shadow to determine north and south. Believe it or not, you can also use the shadow stick method at night, but only if the moon is bright enough to cast a shadow as it moves from rising in the east to setting in the west.
There's also a technique called the equal length shadow method. In the morning, after the sun rises, push a straight 3-foot-long stick upright into the ground. Then tie a string around the base of the stick with a bowline and extend the string to the end of the stick's shadow. Tie a peg on the end of the string, scratch a circle on the ground around the stick with it, then stick the peg into the ground where the shadow touches the circle. Wait until the afternoon and then put another peg in the ground where the shadow now touches the circle. A straight line drawn between the morning peg and the afternoon peg is an east-west line, with the west at the end with the morning peg.
Okay, that's first class requirement number 1.
Some interesting ways to find directions
Without using a compass.
day or night.
You're now prepared to find your way.